Hi, this is the podcast for the riot in August 14th in the year of our Lord, 2020.
But knowing you guys, that doesn't mean that's the day you're listening to it. I know everybody's on different schedules.
All right, so stuff you're going to hear in the podcast today. We talk about Midway. I watched a new movie about an old thing.
Great. That's a big improvement.
It's a step in the right direction.
And it's not like you watching classic movies is wrong. It's just you went all classic, nothing else new.
I've been very classic, Nikki. Very classic. We talk about soda deliveries. Oh, yeah, soda deliveries. Dunkin Donuts and the PSL. Hardee's breakfast. Oh,
my gosh.
Lord. Good Lord.
When you hear that, you need to Google and look up what they look like. That biscuit cheeseburger thing looks amazing. It's tempting. You could just get a couple of their cheeseburgers and like a biscuit, and you could probably make that on your own.
We talk about McConaughey and his memoirs. We find the real reason for all the things that are happening in the world.
Uh-oh.
Give you a hint.
They're
in this room. They're in this room. A Russian powerlifter looking for new games that are coming out this fall, and living in a soccer stadium.
Oh, it's interesting. Squatting there.
Yeah. So there's more.
Thank you guys for listening to the podcast today. We bring up a lot our Instagram takeovers, so don't forget to follow RadioU official on Instagram. And if you missed Obie and I's takeover day on our stories, those are in the highlights section.
Yes, indeed. Anything else?
Enjoy whatever day and whatever you got going on. Just enjoy the day.
Hope you have a good weekend.
Thanks.
Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
You know, a lot of stay-at-homeness happening right now, especially in the field of education. Are you okay?
I think it's Hudson's hair. I was just trying to get it off the board. He's got a pretty big beard, so sometimes I find like beard hair on the board. Got it.
The look on Nikki's face.
No, my nails are longer, so it's a little hard to get it in between the board, like the buttons and the sliders. And it almost went into the slider open area, and I didn't want to just shove the hair down there. So I got it. It's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I got to take a detour.
Yeah.
Speaking of hairs. Yesterday, I got a hair caught inside my mask between the mask and my face.
Yeah.
And I'm inside a store talking to people. And I realize that first off, it's driving me insane.
And
it is tickling, bothering, whatever. But I have to break all the rules in order to fix it. Take my mask off.
And the bigger rule, too, is you're not supposed to touch your face.
Don't touch your face.
So you look like you're
just casually flaunting the rules.
Just terrible with it.
Flaunting. What? I'm out. Man, it was really something that you don't want that to happen to you.
No, you do not. You don't. I think we're good on the board, so we're good.
If you have a beard, do you think you're less likely?
I don't have a beard. Stop it. You see, there's beard hairs always everywhere.
Why did you get weirdly defensive?
I don't.
No, I wasn't. I was going to say, I was going to ask a hypothetical question that did not in any way involve you having a beard.
Sometimes what you do is you play the theater of the mind because you guys can't see us and you're like, oh, my wide feet or oh, my big nose. And I didn't want you to also say, oh, the beard when there is none. And I do have wide feet and my nose is fine, but it's not a weird thing. Listen, you hurt. Okay. You hurt. And I don't want to add that to it.
Hey, you know what?
It's Hudson's beard hair. It's not mine.
I didn't even bring up the Chinese restaurant.
We're not. There's nothing to bring up.
What I intend.
I'm not crying because of you. I just couldn't.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Maybe it's a beard hair in my eye. I don't know.
It's a beard hair, but it's not her beard hair. Okay?
It's not. Leave it alone.
It's not my beard. It's Hudson's beard.
Oh, we're fine. Everything's fine.
The worst of the worst. Are you ready? The Riot Podcast. RadioU.
You're doing classes from home. which means you're taking exams at home. Now, let's face it. I'm not saying that exams aren't important, but for the most part, exams are pretty low impact, right? I mean, you take an exam.
Yeah, I think so.
It affects your grade, which affects your GPA, which could affect your financial aid, whatever. But like at the end of the day, you eventually leave college and that's kind of it. But there's a couple of professions where the stakes are kind of high, right?
You don't get to leave the testing unless you pass.
Like doctors. Mm-hmm. And in this case, lawyers.
You have to pass the bar. Now,
this is in the UK, but, in the UK, you pretty much also have to take a bar exam. And so the bar... Not the pub exam, Nikki. Not the pub exam. The bar exam.
I was like, well, that's dumb. But no, it's not because, there are pubs there. Never mind.
It's fine. So it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, at least in this particular case, and it's called the Bar Standards Board Review. Mm-hmm. Now, the Bar Standards Board said, look, we're going to allow you to take these tests online, but it goes like this. You will not, under any circumstances, be allowed to leave your computer.
Yeah.
None.
Well, for some, online exams, they'll track it.
Yeah. And in some cases, you have to maintain eye contact, essentially. I can't remember exactly how they said it, but with your computer screen.
Yeah.
While you're taking the exam.
They have sometimes, not necessarily with this, but in some classes, they'll have you show the room around it before you start the exam.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of times all you do is you just write your notes around the side of your monitor.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way.
They can't see that. But then they would notice your eyes if your eyes were looking.
Yeah. So here's what they're saying, Nikki. There are a lot of people that are angry at the Bar Standards Board because part of the guidance that they were given was like, look, you can't get up and go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So
can you normally do it if you were taking it in person?
Don't know the answer to that. But I can tell you this. If you can't hold it for 3 hours...
You're not taking it.
Oh, no. Have a bucket.
Oh, that's what they said?
They straight up said, you're going to have a receptacle right there. And...
Gosh.
We're going to need you to maintain eye contact while you...
go to the bathroom? I think you can hold it for up to 3 hours. You can. Unless you're a nervous person. Maybe that's a problem.
There are at least 2 students that are very angry about the fact that a bottle and a bucket were used during their bar exam.
I don't really want to comment until I find out if you were taking it in person. Would you be allowed to leave then to go to the bathroom if you had to? Because then there's still a chance to cheat, especially if you'd already taken the test or if you're in process of taking the test.
No, I don't know.
Even though they're probably mad about the embarrassment of going to the bathroom on the camera.
The guy says that he was told he had to maintain eye contact.
What? Was he supposed to say something like, hey, I'm going to the bathroom now?
He's trying to go to the bathroom. It's like, hey, eyes up here. Oh, gosh. Oh, no.
It's bad, but this isn't just any test. I mean, this is the test.
Oh,
and they're trying to make it work.
This is just, again, it's one of a million things. When people start talking about stay-at-home orders and online schooling and all this stuff, there are so many things that can and apparently do happen that you just would have never thought of.
There's layers.
Oh, there's layers.
And this is a layer.
And here's a layer. So they're complaining. But I don't know where it goes from here.
Yeah, I don't know what else you would do.
Well, I know where it goes. It goes in the bucket, or it doesn't get to be a lawyer.
And listen, it'd be right for them to complain because they're going into that profession where people are complaining about the rights of doing something. So they are their first client then if they're unhappy.
Oh, that's so good.
They can represent each other.
You are your own first client. Good call, Nikki.
A Rotten Tomatoes score so high, they refuse to make it public. The Riot on Radio U.
Now, Nikki, I don't think that you're going to be happy with my choices, which, there's nothing new there. But
let's see. Maybe we're surprised.
I want you to know that yesterday I watched a brand new movie. And by brand new, I mean it came out late last year.
Which one?
There's been a lot of complaints about why you're always watching movies from the 50s and the 60s.
Obi really enjoys going back to like classic movies.
Mm-hmm. So I watched something brand new. It's called Midway.
Midway?
Yes. It's about the Battle of Midway from World War II.
You wanted to see that, right?
I did want to see that.
And they said it was pretty good.
It's directed by Roland Emmerich, the man who brought you such hits as The Day After Tomorrow, Independence Day, and for you, Carl, Stargate.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm. That's right. So I'll say, it was a little ham-fisted.
What do you mean?
Well, it felt like he had read. It felt like he had read that one page in your history book about the Battle of Midway, and the movie was just based on that. And that was kind of it. Because there are all of these, but in fairness, there are all these kind of moments that are historically like, oh, it was this and this and this. And all of those movies, or all of those moments appear in the movie in such a way that you're like, we just like a little subtlety. Just like a little. We just figure out a way for a little bit of subtlety. And they're like, nah.
Let's just go for it.
Nah, brah, nah.
So were you happy that you decided to switch back to a more current movie, or you miss your classics?
You know what? I really enjoyed it.
You did?
I despite some of its shortcomings, I still thought it was a good movie, and I enjoyed it.
Did you ever watch, was it 1917? Did you ever watch that one?
Still have not watched that yet.
See, I think that one everybody raved about.
They did, and you know what? It's up next. I'll tell you what got me to watch this particular one last night is that I've been listening to a podcast about the war in the Pacific, and the podcast reached the Midway battle, and I was like, dude, while this is fresh,
let's just pull the movie up.
I'm going to pull the movie, and I did, and I watched it. And 1917, I think, is probably, that's soon. Though something tells me, Midway was, I'm not calling it a feel-good movie, but it was I feel like a somewhat lighthearted look at the Battle of Midway. It wasn't I'm not saying it's a comedy or not whatever, but it just 1917, I get this feeling I'm going to walk away just like, war is hell.
I think it's more of like a gentle sobbing. Yeah. It's what you're supposed to walk away with that.
And in fairness, it is. I don't want to be a part of it, but I'll watch the movie, I guess.
Well, good. You got some plans then.
Yeah, nothing makes me happier than making plans and breaking them.
No, you did it, though. You completed this one.
Well, it was a complete spur of the moment. That's how it happens. If you really want me to get something done, I have to go with the whim immediately.
When you're ready. And you can make it seem like it was Obi's idea. You don't want it to be your idea and tell him to do it.
Right.
You want him to come up with it.
If you can lead him by making him think he's done it.
Without him realizing.
It's great.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
So I haven't seen an official release date from the people at Starbucks yet, and I can't help but feel like Dunkin is trying to get out in front of them.
What are they doing?
They have announced the return of their pumpkin spice latte.
For Starbucks, I think
August
they said...
August 19th.
Oh, that is earlier. I think a lot of people thought around the 26th to 28th would be Starbucks time.
I have seen now, according to this article, they're saying that an internal memo leaked.
At Starbucks?
At Starbucks, and it says August 25th.
August 25th. So Dunkin was ready. They're like, get it on out.
Move it.
Even though, no offense, I like the pumpkin spice flavor every so often, but I feel like for a lot of people, the, oh my gosh, it's here has kind of died down a little bit.
If you'd said that last year, I would have agreed with you.
But people need it now.
But in 2020, people are looking for something, anything, oh my gosh.
Well, and I think also you like to make a big deal about it on social media.
Right.
But maybe doesn't mean if you took that part of the equation out, would you be as excited?
You mean social media?
Yeah, if you took social media out and it was just you and the flavor, what do we all really think?
Because, a lot of times, and this is hard to understand, but that's how relationships are. A lot of people get excited about the dating, the engagement, the whatever, but at some point,
it's just going
to be you and that person. Or I'm sorry, you and the drink. So without the audience, you still love it. Though, the other side of it is, the only context I can give that question, Nikki, is how do I feel about the peppermint mocha?
Yeah.
And for years, first off, you don't have to wait to get it. They can make it for you.
That flavor is all year long.
But, during Christmas time, getting a peppermint mocha and kind of making a big deal of it, I did that for a while, and now I'm just like, Your
coffee tastes have grown up. You are just a plain coffee.
I am. It's not like
What's
plain.
the other word
It's
to use
black.
then? Well, it's just a straight coffee. That's it.
What is that?
Some people call it like a why bother or
a why bother?
If you're on the other side. If you're on the other side, you get all the fancy drinks and all the stuff with it.
Do you remember how, the emotional reaction you had to the beard hair?
It's not mine. It was Hudson's. But yes, I do remember.
Similar emotions right now.
It's not my term. I'm sure you've heard it before.
But you're using it.
But I'm using it.
Right.
If not, I introduced you to it.
Yeah.
My apologies.
That's hurtful.
You, though, choose unique ways to make the coffee, so you really go all out.
Yeah,
you're about making the experience better, so...
This is that manipulation we were
you.
talking about. So, hey,
it's everybody else.
Other things that they're bringing out, they say apple cider donuts.
At Dunkin'?
Yeah. And pumpkin donuts.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've for giving it a shot. So, but this year, they're bringing out their own pumpkin spice latte. That's the first time they've had a PSL themselves.
Of their own?
They have previously had pumpkin coffee, which will also be out August 19th. So if you need to bring the fall in earlier than ever,
you can.
You can.
And I know Dunkin' people are brand loyal, too. A lot of people love it.
Yeah. That's a thing, especially on the East Coast.
Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
Back to this pumpkin spice latte thing.
Yeah.
I was talking to some friends yesterday about the idea of the fall. And, for me, one of the things that I love about the fall is college football. And it's this whole mixture of things that come together. It's the weather cooling down. It's college football. It's my birthday, which happens in September. I love that. Because it's your birthday.
That's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's cake. Come on. And, all these different things. But we're seeing a lot of things that we love in the fall. Just, they're just like, not this year. And they've always been there. And so you're just like, how can you take it?
At first, you just don't believe it. You're like, wait, you can't.
Psychologists are straight up saying we're grieving these things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're going through the stages of grief with these things. And so what I'm saying is this, is that if you're really looking forward to pumpkin spice latte and you're like, man, it's all that I got left, that's an exaggeration, but you go ahead and look forward to it.
You go enjoy it.
Because I think many of us, myself included, some of those things during the fall that we look forward to are going to be gone. And so what we need to do is we need to find some new things to look forward to. Doesn't mean we're going to die. It doesn't mean it just means we're going to have to find a couple of new things this year for us to look forward to.
Until the other stuff returns.
So, how about this year we all look forward to maybe a pumpkin spice latte or whatever. You do you find your thing.
You say, be on the lookout for new opportunities to have some new favorites.
New opportunities for new things to look forward to. Plan something. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is, and I'm certainly not going to tell you to invite anyone. But
but outside of that.
You know what? You just think about it, and you think of something new and different that you could do this fall, but still have something to look forward to. And when you figure that thing out, let me know what it is.
In case we want to add it to our list, too, of things we now want to enjoy, too.
I'm also looking for that.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
been talking about coffee, and we've had a coffee problem here in the building this morning. I don't know what's going on, but I went in there.
Our break room.
The break room to make the coffee.
Yeah.
So I made the coffee and turned it on. I came back to realize that I hadn't put any water in.
Uh-oh. So what does that do?
I'm like, oh my gosh, I broke it. It's not working. Oh no. And then I'm like, oh, there's just no water in it. No problem. So I put the water in it. When I put the water in it, I had turned the coffee off. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't turn it back on. So I just went in there and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no coffee. Oh no, we broke it. Oh no.
But then you realize you just never turned it back on?
That I haven't turned it back on.
You normally don't have any issues.
I don't know what's going on, Nikki, but
it's a Friday. It's just whatever.
Something is happening. Now, the good news is there was some soda laying around and all of that thanks to Luke and the fam. He says, hi, Obadiah and Nikki. We were listening to you guys and heard Obadiah liked this soda. And by the way, it's Dr. Pepper cream soda.
They found some of the bottles of it. Not even the cans, the bottles, the big bottles.
So we heard Obadiah liked the soda. Soda was having a hard time finding it. I think this is the one he was talking about. We're longtime Riot fans. Love the podcast. Keep it up and stay safe.
It was so sweet. They dropped it off yesterday.
Very kind of you, Luke and family.
Yes, thank you guys
so much for doing that.
And that's the one you like, so that is good.
It's the good stuff.
You need to put your name on it so that others don't take it.
Well, I am.
Or you can share.
I was going to say, I'm absolutely going to have some, but I'm also going to share it. It seems... hey, let's share.
Remember what we talked about, though, sometime with our break room. If you don't put a limit, there won't be any when you come back.
Just because
That's sharing.
Just because I'm willing to share doesn't mean that other people aren't willing to take it all.
So if you want to share 1 and 2 out of the 6-pack or whatever, you're going to want to take those off or store those. Do something.
Very reasonable, Nikki.
So nothing wrong with just making sure you're a little extra safer with your stuff.
Very, very reasonable.
But thank you guys again for dropping those off.
Yeah, Luke and the fam.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
So yesterday, if you're a Fortnite player on mobile, big things happened. And dude, this is a showdown that has been kind of a long time coming. You see, let me set the stage for you. If you release an app on the App Store through Apple or through Google, and it's an app that contains, let's say, for example, you have to pay for the app. Well, Apple and Google get a cut of that. But if your app has in-store purchases or in-app purchases, they get a cut of those purchases as well. So a lot of companies are like, hey, no, you don't get to do that. You can have some money up front, but that's it. You don't get this money.
But a lot of games in the beginning used to be all up front, just with one pay.
Right.
Then everything turned to a freemium where you didn't have to pay for the actual download, but you would pay in-app. So these companies were like, hey, wait a minute, though. That was a way for the non-app store. That was a way for them to keep more money.
Right. So in Fortnite, what they did was they came up with a thing where they're like, hey, you know what? If you buy your V-Bucks straight from us, we're going to give you a discount. So they essentially wanted to, and I believe they put a link that would take you outside of the game to buy online. Whatever it was, Apple said, hey, you're in violation of the App Store rules and licensing and whatever.
I don't know about Google, but I think it's pretty transparent that Apple would get about 30%.
Yeah, now we don't know the amount on Google, but I can tell you that they pulled Fortnite yesterday.
Apple did?
Apple
or did Google?
And then late last night,
Google
did the same thing.
Oh, they made them both mad. I mean, that is breaking that.
So now we're squaring off with Epic Games and Fortnite in one corner and the App Store providers in the other.
I hadn't heard about Google yet, that they pulled it too. So if you go to download, Fortnite, the app is not available.
Yeah. So it was some sort of a discount system that they had in place. But they also said it was a new in-game purchase system that allowed direct purchases of Fortnite mobile goods from Epic Games and not through the app stores. So I am not a mobile Fortnite player, so I don't know exactly how it worked. But they said, hey, that's a terms of service violation.
And they're gone.
And they pulled it. Now, the thing that I don't know is, can you keep playing online?
See, that's what I wondered, too.
If you already have it downloaded?
I don't know. Because, like when they were talking about, hey, if TikTok went away and they stopped the offering of it, technically an app can just disappear.
It absolutely can and has, and I've experienced it.
When your app goes away, it's very sad. But I don't know with Fortnite. It might still be there, but you just can't do anything else with it. Or you can't update or do something like that.
So I don't, again, know everything about what's going on.
Anybody have Fortnite on their phone? Let us know.
I can tell you this. Epic Games has filed court paperwork.
Oh, they're in for it then.
My thought was, I feel like, and other people do as well, that Epic has been waiting, and they're
probably ready to do this.
They're ready to do this. They did. It's not like they went into it like, oh, I can't believe we're having a problem.
Like how they always say for us, like, oh, better to go in, take initiative, do it, ask for forgiveness later in case you end up doing something that's too wrong. Not in this case. They knew it was against their terms that they already had set up.
And the big argument, I believe, now this is just me speculating, is that they're probably going to argue that the terms are unfair and too high. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that will revolve around, you see, they run their own online store. And one of the things that they're well known for is a much smaller percentage that they take of game sales versus other online stores.
See, it would have been easier if they would have kept Google on their side. Then it could have just been against the monster Apple, because Apple takes a greater percentage out of when they sell stuff.
Right.
But if they made both of them mad, now that's even harder, I think.
We're going to war.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I want to say hi to William. He's a podcast listener who just texted. He said, hey, for Obadiah, since he's watched so many old shows and movies, have you ever heard of the Summer Movie Series? And he talks about a local theater where they show old movies. And the answer is yes. Though, I actually, you know what? I guess it's just this year I haven't done it. The last couple of years, though I haven't done like all of them, I've gone and watched a lot of old movies at theaters. Mm-hmm. And that's been really interesting because you don't normally get to watch movies, like older movies, at the theater.
But I feel like it's picked up when you started quarantine stuff. Then you started to watch. You just got into it a little bit more.
I've just been watching movies, which I don't know. Like it seemed like for a while I kind of wasn't doing that, and now I'm just like, well, it's fine.
We talked yesterday that AMC Theaters is going to be opening up. Is it next weekend or the weekend after?
Uh-huh.
Did you see on their day that they come out, it's like 15 cents?
15 cents. I love this. I talked to my friend Ben yesterday, Nikki, and this is so great. He is going with 3 friends. Yeah. So yesterday he logged in and bought 4 tickets. 15 cents a piece. So that's 60 cents. There was an $8 convenience fee.
Oh, really? Oh, that takes some of the wind out of the sail.
If he had gone to the theater, he could have bought it for 15 cents and paid no convenience fee. But buying them online in advance, it was still $8.60, which is pretty good.
Yeah, but it's not as good as just the 15 cents to get in. So that's to commemorate the centennial for AMC. They're offering movies in 2020 at $19.20 prices. When they reopen, they're reopening more than 100 AMC theaters on August 20th, so next Thursday. And that's the day that they have that price.
Yeah, and it's mostly old movies. So,
yes, that they're doing.
You know what? Do I still have the AMC app on my phone? Maybe I should go see a classic movie that day, Nikki.
So AMC has said that they expect to open 2/3 of its 600 theaters in the United States by the time Tenet rolls around. That's still the marker movie, which is on September 3rd. So you might need to check your area. Not all AMCs are opening next Thursday. It might be a rollout for some areas.
Okay, so that's something my buddy lives not too far from me, so, I should be able to maybe.
You are. It depends on your city and its authorized ability, state and local officials. So some areas, yes, some areas, no. They're just doing a slow roll for the other ones.
Nikki, slow your roll.
No, it's AMC.
AMC, slow your roll.
It's been slow. I mean, they've been down for a while, but next Thursday, 15 cents for the movies.
Any slower and it's not happening at all.
You don't want to slow it any more than that.
Okay, so speed up your roll, I guess. Yeah. Well, hello to William, and thanks for saying hey, and hello to Nikki for knowing about 15 cents for the day.
You're welcome.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
Listen, Nikki and I are always looking for the next big breakfast sensation.
I love a fast food big breakfast. I don't mind saying that. I don't get it often, but there's something nice about not having to do your own breakfast.
It's true, right? Well, the people at Hardee's and probably Carl's Jr.
It's the same.
They're working on their breakfast menu, and they have introduced what is essentially the Hardee's McGriddle. It's the Hot Cakes breakfast sandwich.
So it's in competition with the McDonald's McGriddle.
Uh-huh. Oh, my gosh.
What?
Forget about that.
Why? What else?
I never scrolled. Have you scrolled?
That's even better. Okay, wait. Well, let's talk about the sandwich first, and then we'll get to that. Hang on. So if you go to Hardee's or Carl's Jr., even though they're specifically saying the Hardee's part, they are the same place. But basically, it's like a McGriddle. You get a sausage, patty, eggs, the folded over egg sort of thing, with the pancakes as the bun. This is a little different, though. I don't think there's any syrup in the pancake.
They haven't infused it?
No, which is what McDonald's does.
Well,
this is on the side.
Some syrup for dipping.
That's what they'll have. It's a side of dipping sauce with it.
That sounds wonderful, actually. And I have had, I want to say it's a Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwich that is made this way. It's good.
I like the McGriddle, but I only like the sausage or the chicken McGriddle. That one's the best.
The Nikki, I have something for you.
This one's even better.
Oh, my gosh.
So that is starting August 19th. And then if we scroll down, we see something that looks better.
The hand-breaded chicken and waffle sandwich with maple butter. Oh, my gosh.
So that's their answer.
Oh, my gosh. It looks so good.
To the honey butter chicken breakfast sandwich that's at like Wendy's. But this has a waffle around it.
Oh, I want that.
That starts on August 19th in Columbia, South Carolina.
So only in one place.
I think that's it.
You sick, twisted people.
Why even show us?
Why did you have to show me? I didn't know it existed.
We really love anything that also has like a maple, like an infused butter. We're all over that.
Oh, man. So now, and here, let me warn you in advance. The next item we're talking about, only available in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
It also looks good. It's a biscuit double cheeseburger. Let's do that for breakfast.
Biscuit burger.
Doesn't that
sound good?
It's a Hardee's biscuit with 2 cheeseburger patties with cheese. That's the breakfast sandwich.
Man.
I'd like that, too.
All right, I apologize for what I'm about to say, but screw you, Hardee's.
Why can't we have that? Even though, it doesn't always look like this, I'll tell you when you get to the restaurants. There is sometimes a disconnect between the Hardee's that I've been to.
You know what, Nikki? I'm not going to get caught up so much in the looks as I will the taste.
As the taste. The last time I went to a Hardee's, I usually go to Carl's Jr., but the last time I went to a Hardee's, it wasn't the best experience. And some listener, I laughed so hard. They're like, yeah, that's common. You got to wait a couple of years for the location to kind of like get its groove in.
A couple of years?
That's why I laughed so hard. I was like, why do we have to wait a couple of years? But it can take a while. Yeah, that's what they said.
I'll give you months.
Nope. They said they had the same issue with theirs. It just took a while for them to get a good team in there. Years was it.
3 different owners and 5 different managers, and then eventually they're going to make it work. Oh, my gosh, dude. I'm hungry.
They look good. So those are all the new Hardee's breakfast sandwiches, but it's not nationwide except for their McGriddle sort of dupe.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
All right, look. I don't want to make, I'm really not trying to make a political statement, but it's about politics. But I got to say this, okay? Not everything is always the president's fault. You know how it became a running joke to say, thanks, Obama?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a joke about the fact that so many people were blaming the president for who even knows what, right? Well, the same thing applies here. I'm not exactly a big old Trump fan waving. I do not have a Trump flag or yard sign like so many of my neighbors do. But, I mean, like, you can't just... It's like, man, the coffee machine didn't work. Well, with this president in office, I'm not surprised that coffee machine's not working today.
And you do see a lot of people with that response.
Like, guys, I mean, the president is powerful, but, like, he's limited. Sometimes we should be mad at the city council members, but you don't even know their names. And in fact, when you went to vote last time, you were just like, I don't know. I like Mitch. Mitch is a good name. I'll pick that one.
Are you saying it's good to make sure you're more, even on a local level, even more aware of what is going on?
I just think in modern society, I'm not saying the president's not important, but I think the president has taken on an exaggerated importance. Mm-hmm. And I mean the office and not the person. There's an exaggerated importance when there's a lot of things that are important, but we're just in reality not willing to do the hard work and put in the effort to understand the system and the process. And so instead we're just like, man, there's no Hardees around here. And with this administration, I'm not surprised. And the only thing that changes is that kind of talk just gets handed from party to party, back and forth. So it's like if you're a Democrat and there's a Republican office, you're like, well, under this administration, I'm not surprised. But then if you're a Republican and there's a Democrat in office, it turns into, well, thanks, Obama. Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Oh, gosh, guys, society drives me insane.
Now, listen, the good thing is what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday and then Sunday, and you take a break on social media and news during that time.
It just drives me nuts. I get it. It's supposed to be, I'm supposed to laugh it off or whatever, but every once in a while, I'm just like, oh, guys, like, please, could we embrace the process? Do we know what it means to be a democratic republic? Do we understand how that works? Let's just read up on it like a little. Read the Wikipedia article. Just go Democratic Republic and go home and find out who is your city council representative. Wherever, just find out who it is. You don't know. You don't even know how to look right now. I'm telling you that and you're like,
I don't know.
What? What's that?
All right, are we just saying?
I'm fine. It's fine.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's The Riot on RadioU.
I want to say hi to Nikki. Was it Keith? Keith says that because of the coronavirus, after 4 years.
4 years.
4 years of not drinking soda, he's back on soda.
Well, we were talking earlier about, once you spend a long time, like, not having something, so call it a diet or just, like, you're taking out one part, you've said no to something for so long that it's very hard to jump back on in the same passion that you had the first time.
Yes.
If you stop doing it. He said at least I think he's still doing, like, sugar-free ones, but so he said at least that's something to it. But yeah, after 4 years, he's been having that return.
He tries to justify it in texts that come later, but he's embraced it. He's
all in.
He's
go back all in.
You know what's sad is you actually go back harder.
You do in the beginning because you lose control.
See, that's what happened to me when we were doing the stay-at-home thing.
Yeah.
I had to stop and get gas, and I went in, and I was like, man, I'm really hungry. And so I allowed myself to have, are you ready? You've heard these two words together a lot over the last few months. I allowed myself to have a zebra cake. I don't even normally
Where did this come from again?
I don't even normally let myself go over to that part of the store.
Except on a road trip, but not like on a morning before you get to work.
But I just wandered over and had one, and then I was like, wait, these are here all the time. They're always here. And I'll tell you, I had a couple more visits.
Did you?
Where I was just like, I'll take one of these.
I'll just take one. No problem.
Get one on the way in, Get one on the way out.
It happens to the best of us. We all fall into the zebra cakes.
Oh,
and
man.
the soda.
So, Keith, I just want you to know, thanks for your transparency. Thanks for sharing.
We understand. We say you can do it, but just don't pressure yourself because then that can make it harder.
You know what? You don't have to. Like, whatever. You know, you could drink nothing but water now till the end, or you could drink soda, but the end's coming. So might as well have some soda.
Don't bring it around to that. Don't do that. You might as well be happy. Don't. We have to have something.
Are there any zebra cakes in here?
Worst of the riot. Radio U.
None of us are truly better than the other. We're all just people here. But I'll tell you that being a person myself, there are some people's memoirs I'm interested in and some that I'm not interested in at all.
Did we find some of the not interested in category?
I mean, in fairness, there are probably some people whose memoirs I'd be even less interested in than this. But Matthew McConaughey is getting ready.
Oh, is he going to release one?
To release his memoirs.
Why aren't you interested?
I'll tell you exactly why. Those Buick commercials.
Oh, is it Buick? Is that what he does, or
yeah, isn't it?
Or is it?
Is it maybe? I thought it was Buick, but maybe it's something else. But I'll tell you right now, there's no possible way going forward that I wouldn't be able to read anything he writes and not imagine him spouting nonsense while driving a Buick.
Oh, it's a Lincoln?
A Lincoln, okay.
That's it, a Lincoln.
A Lincoln, and like whatever smug observations on life he has, driving his Lincoln around at night.
It's just too much for you. Like, that's the breaking point. His entire career and his entire life, you no longer care anymore because he's doing the Lincoln commercials.
That's right, because essentially, if I buy his book, which is called Green Lights, Not Helping, I'm just going to feel like I'm sitting next to him in a Lincoln, hearing him say things like, I don't even have a quote. I can't even make up something to fill the space.
It's not your world.
It's not. He's just like, oh, life's so great.
It's also his tone. I don't think you like his delivery. Is that your impression of him?
That shot of him like touching his face and like kind of smiling about life and
probably
whatever.
A point.
Yeah. No, I can't. I'm not going to be able to do it.
But he's doing a book about his life?
Yes. Let me give you a direct quote from him. On Twitter, he says the following. This is my sights and scenes, my nices and means, successes and failures, stories, people, places, poems, prayers, prescribes, and a whole lot of bumper stickers. Lincoln.
Sometimes it's hard to
didn't say the Lincoln part.
You added that. You're right. Sometimes it is hard. I've watched a couple of his speeches and they've been just amazing. And then others, I feel we just haven't connected. He says he spent 12 days alone in the desert with no electricity to write this memoir.
What do you write it on?
Paper probably. Or maybe like maybe how does his laptop work then? You found a hole. You found a problem in his story.
I just want to know. Like you said, no electricity.
Now wait.
Do batteries count?
What is it? This one article says spent 12 days alone in the desert. This one says on his memoir writing process, 52 days alone in the desert without electricity. What is it? What's the answer?
What is he, Jesus?
I know.
At the end, he was tempted to make the stones into bread.
He said, I went away to the desert with no electricity. This was during an event with Lincoln to talk about the new app that they have.
I can't take it.
He says, I've been keeping a diary for 36 years. And a couple of years ago, my wife gave me a kick in the backside to say, you've been talking about sitting down for those years. Now it's time to get out there and go do that. So he used his journal and did the writing. It's exactly like you thought.
It is.
It's everything. All right, so that's his memoir that's coming out.
Hey, you know what? If you want to read up on it, good for you.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, are you ready for the single most astute text message that we have received in approximately a million years.
Yeah, what'd you get?
Okay, here it comes.
Yeah.
This is from Stephanie. She says, Nikki kept saying things needed to stay canceled so we could learn to say goodbye.
Ooh.
Now there's theme music.
Now we have music. This is our postponement music. When something gets postponed, you get this.
Do you realize, Nikki, that this whole year might be your fault?
It's not. Why would you say that?
I'll tell you why.
That's
I said
too
no.
Much.
Stephanie gets it because for years you've just been like, no. All right? Things are canceled, and that's it. They stay canceled.
I did used to say that. But that was always...
Wait, I got to finish this, Nikki, because you said that's why we were unable to say goodbye to our pets when they die.
In context, that matched better when we talked about it.
But you said it.
I did.
You said that, and that's why we're unable to deal with grief and endings and whatever.
That's
so
not
it
the
seems
case.
to me that you are probably the shadow government that is out there saying that's it. I'm going to show these people what it means to cancel things.
No, I used to say that before this year. When it came to, I always got tired because movie studios and like Netflix and every place would never just let a show go away. It was always, hey, this show was on 6 or 7 years ago. It did somewhat okay, but not okay enough to stay on the air. But why don't we just bring it back? Because we have nothing else. We have nothing new. So they bring back constantly things. That happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And I got tired of it because I thought some things could just stay gone.
Nikki said sometimes we just need to learn to accept no.
Yeah.
Like somebody says no and we have to go, okay, the answer's no.
But
and what 2020's
it's
been a big no, Nikki.
I never meant anything like this.
Are you ready to reverse your policy
not when it comes to like, here's the Peacock network and we have to fill this programming, so let's bring this back. That's all they do. I still say no on that. But as far as like Big Ten, as far as everything else, we could have that. We don't need to cancel it. We don't need it to go away.
I know. Stephanie, thank you so much. It was out there in the open for us all to see the whole time.
I was the one.
It's been right in front of us. Nikki is trying to teach us that sometimes no is no.
Does that make me evil by something?
Well, I mean, I think you were doing your best and you feel like we all need it. So, okay.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you,
for bringing that back out to him.
Yep. So
I don't want anything else postponed or canceled. I will say we could stop that.
Oh, that's great. People, okay. This always happens. Chad wants to know, is that music from Dr. Layton? All right, everybody.
People also wonder if it's from Overcooked.
It's
not.
Postponed.
It's just music.
This is just from, we pay to be part of a service that allows us to use music without getting a copyright strike.
It's our circus music. It's under the circus category.
No, I can't send it to you.
You can't have it.
And honestly,
it's not your ringtone.
You could go find it because they do sell it, but I can't give it to you.
Here, you just ask your phone. You say, "Hey Siri, what's this song?" And then you can have it. I'm sure it's somewhere.
So it says here, let's see. So we don't need to blame the president when Nikki's the reason why I gained weight in quarantine. Yes!
It's all me.
It was Nikki. Aaron says, LB, you have that thing where if you like something, it gets canceled. What does that make Nikki? Her power is too strong.
I could take it all away, guys. I could take this all away.
She can take everything away. And all she wants to do is for you guys to learn something. All right? Sometimes.
Well, we're going to make a positive out of the negative.
Nikki wants you to learn to say goodbye to your animals.
Hey, I warned you all last year when we played The Negative by Demon Hunter. And I was like, the negative. I warned you guys that something was coming.
Dang it. Nikki, you're too strong.
No, I don't want to be that way. I don't want to have that power.
Hey, wait a minute. Oh, my gosh.
What?
If I'm the harbinger of failure, then you are failure. You're like the spirit of failure. Because I'm your harbinger. I come proclaiming that you're coming.
And I just say, let it be gone.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
I imagine if I go back through the podcast today, I'll be like, man, why was I yelling so much? Sure seemed agitated.
One of those days.
Hey, you know what? I will tell you that I don't know about everybody else, but man, the news has really been bumming me out lately. The cancellations have really bummed me out because
Sorry.
Thanks, Nikki. There have been so many things where I was like, yeah, wow, but you know what? Once school starts and football starts.
Well, everybody thought fall would bring it back in because everything had been postponed to around this time.
It's like, no. And you know what? Then at night, like, I'm just kind of trying to relax and rest. And I just, man, you ever hear that phrase, splinter in your mind's eye? I just feel like, man, I don't know. Like, it's like I just can't rest. I'm agitated by the state of the world and society. And I'm just like, man, when are things going to be normal? All that, basically having a hard time, just like so many other people are. And if you aren't, high five, good for you. I'm just not there right now. Like, I'm kind of struggling with the state of things, and one of the things that I've been doing, and it's almost hard for me to explain it to you, but I spent some time praying. And one of the things that God said to me was just like, hey, I want you to rest. And I'm like, man, aren't you getting it? I can't. Are you listening? And God was kind of said to me like, hey, why don't we how about I just take care of some of that stuff and you just rest for now? And he talked about this idea of like resting in his shadow. Like basically just lay down and take a break. If God's a tree, just sleep under the tree for a while and don't worry about the other stuff. Now, I can see where you might say, oh, well, I can do that too. I stick my head in the sand and I buy a fifth of whiskey and I'm good. It's this religious stuff. It's all the same. I get it. I understand why you would think that. But I'm telling you, there's something different about it. God does not say, oh, who cares? Oh, whatever. We'll just get drunk and we'll see what tomorrow looks like. God is more like, hey, you know what? Trust me to take care of you. And take a break and relax. And that is something that Jesus wants for us. He wants to take care of things and he wants to give us a break. God is not saying that it's not tough out there. God is not saying that, oh, you shouldn't care. Just wait. Like, he understands that we're having a hard time and he is willing. If we would sit down, he is saying, hey, let me carry the burden of it. You just take a break for a while. Do I still have to come to work? Yeah. Do I still have to live my life? Yeah. But God is with me and he is carrying the stuff that for me has just been too heavy to carry. He'll do that for you too. I know what it's like for me, but I don't for you, but he does. Just say, Jesus, I need that. I want you to come into my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. And I want you to, carry some of this for me because I could really, really use your help. And God loves that. You ask him for help, he's there right now.
The Riot RadioU.
This is terrifying because, Nikki, I'm a power lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I lift hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
Actually, he does weightlift.
I do.
And you like it. That's a workout and exercise you love.
I love weightlifting. I do feel like I have begun to come up against a lot of the structural barriers of my body, meaning I have issues with my arms because I broke them when I was a kid because I'm an idiot.
Now that's not productive. Do we notice that?
It's fine.
It doesn't help.
It's, you know what? It's frustrating. And two, the reality of it is I've been able to see where if I did not have this difficulty,
you could do more with it.
I would, yes, it would be very different than it is, but I still like it. Sorry, wasn't going to go there.
Just a side note. That's fine. Let's go back.
It just comes out. Okay.
So what happened?
So there's this guy, Alexander Sadiq in Russia, who was at a powerlifting championship just outside of Moscow, and he was going for his 880-pound deadlift.
Whoa. Wow.
Whoa! So much weight. And then he breaks, shatters both of his knees.
Oh,
during the lift.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. It is.
Is it tough to watch?
Horrendous. As someone who has had deep, terrifyingly painful, bone-crushing injuries, why did I ever look at it?
Oh, you can't. Oh, it does look bad. It looks so bad. I've seen sometimes you'll get bloody noses and stuff when they do that, or they kind of black out for a moment, but that looks bad.
Yeah, that's broken bones. That means that even if your muscles could do it, your body's bones could not handle the pressure that you were trying to put on them. Yeah.
So they said he had to be immediately rushed to the hospital. He had surgery, which took 6 hours. Oh. Both knees were fractured, and his quadricep muscles had
Those
to
are
be...
just your thighs.
You ready?
Yeah.
Had to be reattached.
Yep.
They used the reattached word.
That makes sense to me. Looking at the injury, that makes sense to me.
So it is such a bad injury that he'll actually have to learn to walk again. It's that bad.
Well, count me out. So no gym today. Everybody take the day off from the gym.
He must lie down motionless for 2 months. Then he'll learn how to walk again.
That's
so
crazy.
There's so much to this.
That is crazy. And to think that the fact that science and medicine are at a point that he's going to be able to walk again alone is amazing. But geez.
So they said that this similar injury, this injury happens more frequently than you would like with this type of weightlifting. So this also happened to a weightlifter when he tried to do 550 pounds, also during a competition in Russia last year.
That's 330 pounds less
than
this guy
one.
tried. Nope. Count me out. Done. I'm done.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So, Nikki, I'm looking here to try to figure out, we've been talking about find something you can look forward to.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for some things to look forward to. And for me, a lot of times that's video games. And I'll tell you, here's what I've come up with, okay? If you like UFC, there's a new UFC video game that hits today.
Have you ever played a game from them?
I played the first EA Sports UFC game. It's weird because it's, you're used to playing like a Street Fighter kind of fighting game, and this is a little more technical.
Which can sometimes be a bit boring compared to some of the other more extravagant fighting games, which would not be allowed in a fighting world here.
Right. So I don't know what to make of it. I realize that's kind of non-committal, but you almost have to check it out.
Just to see.
Yeah. Let's see. Coming up August 27th, there's a re-release of Control, which came out last year. It's a great game, but it's basically their collector's edition is going to hit. Madden is coming out August 28th.
Yeah.
Madden, Nikki.
Great.
Madden.
All right. Anything else?
Okay. We got Project Cars 3 August 28th. Marvel's Avengers September 4th. Also out that day is NBA 2K21.
Okay.
So a lot of people love the NBA 2K stuff. And also out that day, September 4th, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Did you see the Chipotle thing with it? The burrito?
No, I saw where they renamed one of the tricks, but what's that?
Well, Chipotle had a thing where if you ordered through their app the Tony Hawk burrito, so it was like a certain style.
Yes.
I think you got entered in a competition. Okay. Yeah, you got entered in for a chance, I think maybe to win the game. I don't know if that's still even going on, but that was something they came up with as a... Like, if you're into the industry, it was kind of like a non-traditional way to try to win a copy of the game.
So, a couple other things really quick. There's a new WWE game out next month. They are re-releasing Kingdoms of Amalur. They're calling it the Re-Reckoning. But there are a couple of games this fall that are that, where they've gone back to old games and they are gussying them up real good.
Yeah, because that's all we can do.
There's the Mafia Definitive Edition remake, and that, I think, closes out September. And then in October, you get Star Wars Squadrons, Dirt 5, FIFA, NHL, Transformers Battlegrounds, Watch Dogs. I don't know. All these dates are subject to change.
Yeah, but at least it sounds like there's something.
It does sound like, I'll just tell you, I never played Kingdoms of Amalur. And, I did very briefly. And I definitely never played Mafia. And they're saying those are looking kind of cool. So There's that.
Got some possibilities.
Into November, you got Destiny 2, Assassin's Creed, Cyberpunk 13, which is also a remake. But, there are things.
That's good.
I gave during the last fundraiser, and all I got was this crappy morning show. This is The Riot on listener-supported Radio U.
Sometimes you like to stay places, and, things like rent and leases, they can be a real hassle. So you just don't really bother with them. And sometimes they're not even available. Like, let's say, for example, you decided you wanted to live in one of the luxury suites in Al Lang Stadium in Tampa, Florida.
Can you do that?
Or, excuse me, St. Petersburg, Florida. You can.
Are you legally allowed to do that?
No. The Al Lang Stadium is the home of currently the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And we have a guy here.
What are they?
They're part of the USL League.
Oh, okay.
I also don't know what that is.
Hang on. I did want to ask. Hang on. What's the USL? Men's Soccer League in the United States. Okay. All right.
So there you go.
It's sanctioned by the Soccer Federation as a Division II professional league.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Since 2017 under Major League Soccer.
I'll tell you what's not sanctioned, and that's Daniel. He has spent the last 2 weeks living in one of the luxury suites, and he's just been wearing the team gear. Take a shower, put on some team stuff.
Has anybody questioned him then? Or they thought they were just a part of the team?
Nobody caught him. Like, he's been going and getting food. He's been fixing himself stuff to eat.
You got to be confident if you want to try to make this work.
They say he took about $1,000 worth of clothes, $250 worth of food and drinks.
Oh, so he's arrested now?
Yeah, so now he's getting a free stay and free meals in jail. So,
I think maybe he's fine with that.
I think it's great. It's a great idea. Just stay in the... I appreciate if you're going to go, go with the luxury.
Was he posting about it on social media, or was he really just trying to squat to, find a place? Because it depends on if the team was even playing at all, or were they just practicing, or, if no one was even going up to that area.
It looks like... Okay, here's the deal. They apparently are not playing games, and the cleaning crews, as a result, are, not cleaning the suites because no one's using them.
So no one's checking on them.
And so it came up after a month or whatever, they're supposed to go, wipe things down. I don't know, whatever. And they found it.
Right. The cleaning crew then gets found out. They were probably trying to play it off like, oh, yeah, we're cleaning. Absolutely.
Every day.
But they had no idea someone was living in one of them.
No, they weren't supposed to go in there.
Okay.
So they eventually found him, and
now he's out.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the Radio U network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Well, we can't kiss, but I can at least hug you.